Now, one of you lot sent me a podcast clip the other day, and I watched it, and I started to realise that since I hung the microphone up, the game has gone to rat shit. And it needs saving. Badly. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to come back. I don't want to fucking talk to people. Christ, I did enough of that. I'm not that sociable anymore. But I am going to call out the nonsensical podcasting that is going on because the game is dying. So many conversations where people are just waffling and sucking themselves off and are totally removed from reality, and I'm calling it out from this day onwards. Whenever you're watching a podcast and you can see they're talking bullshit, you tweet me it, time code it, because I don't want to have to watch through all the nonsense before they get to the point where they're talking crap, or send it on Instagram, and we're going to clean the game up together, because enough is enough. And the first person we're talking about today is Elliot Page, this guy, this geezer. He used to look like this, for those who don't know. She was an X-Men, Inception, then obviously had the sex change. Now looks like that, which I guess is her interpretation of what men dress like. And to be fair, like, a lot of people thought that there was something not quite right. She did have a bit of a meltdown on an interview once.
I have traveled the world and I have met the most marginalized people you could meet. I am lucky to have this time and the privilege to say this.
So that was her when she was a woman. People knew something wasn't quite, you know. And then now she looks like this. And she's gone on a podcast to talk about healthy masculinity. Yeah, you can see where this is going.
It's been a while.
How old are you?
39.
Me too. 1987.
I hesitated.
Never ask a woman her age. That's why she hesitated. That's in them. That's in them. Like, women don't like giving up their age at a certain point.
He was a child actor, as were you. Mm-hmm. How young were you when you got into it?
I was 10 years old.
This explains a lot, doesn't it? Child actors, none of them end up, you know. It's just true though, isn't it? They all end up fucked up.
Your new documentary, Second Nature, it's going deep into the non-binary nature of gender and sexuality in the entire animal kingdom, of which we are a part of. But also it's funny.
It sounds bloody hilarious, to be fair. Just to be clear, this is the documentary basically telling us that trans isn't just human issues, it's something that happens within the animal kingdom. You know, those animals who can't communicate to us that I'm not really a man, I wasn't really born a man, I'm actually a woman, and can't show us, you know, through how they dress or how they style their hair. All of a sudden a lion starts trotting around with a little handbag. They can't tell us that. So it clearly is setting out with an agenda to prove this is normal, in order to prove that we now have to accept that in the human form.
And I felt so affirmed by it. And I felt silly for just assuming all of this to not be the truth, which, of course, it makes sense that animals are queer as fuck.
Animals display behavior that is homosexual. That happens. That does not mean that you can then say that those animals aren't then still the same sex that they were born as. They might just have homosexual behavior. That doesn't mean the male is no longer a male.
And whether it's, you know, waterfowl or lions or frogs or sex-changing fish or, you know, bonobos, or, you know, the list goes on and on. So it's a nature documentary that explores how, you know, what we were taught in biology class in terms of, you know, gender and sex being this really binary thing in nature, men being the dominant, violent, aggressive ones, women being inferior and submissive and what have you. And just literally none of it's true.
Literally none of it's true. Listen to that. Literally none. Is it not generally true that the female of the species, no matter what animal we're talking about, will either give birth or lay eggs? That not fucking true all of a sudden. I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions, but generally speaking, that's how it fucking works for a reason, man. They're the females. She's out here saying literally none of that's true. Fucking bullshitter.
It's a quaint little myth. Nature's so expansive. The gender binary, I mean, it just doesn't exist. I mean, gender, sex, it's a spectrum.
It is not a spectrum. That's the thing, especially in the fucking animal kingdom. A lion may fucking go and try and shag a male lion. Doesn't mean that that male lion isn't still a male lion. Doesn't start styling its fucking mane differently all of a sudden and start talking with a softer fucking tone of voice, does it? Do you want them bitten off? I'll take them off for you. Just have a hole there if you want. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are they doing? Yeah, are they having gender reassignment surgery? I don't think so. And this whole quaint little myth that men are stronger than women. Have you ever watched the Olympics, love? Watch the last boxing Olympics, in fact. They were a fucking learning experience for us all, when a man portraying themselves to be a woman beat the shit out of every woman and got the gold medal. She wasn't even any good, really. It's not a quaint little myth that men are stronger than women. And just because in some instances in the animal kingdom, some female will be as strong as male, whatever, who cares? That doesn't disprove everything. It doesn't disprove our reality. Especially when you look at like lions, gorillas, wolves, deer. The male of the species, they're the fucking domineering ones. They're the strong ones. They're the ones who fight for territory. They're the ones who impregnate the females. And this nonsense is just being spouted off as if it's fucking true. And I wouldn't care, but this woman is like the most famous trans person in the world. People actually listen to her.
Loved knowing how closely related we are to bonobos.
Me too.
Which is a huge part of, second nature.
This is what a bonobo is. For those who are wondering, this is what she's basing her argument on. Should we just check if bonobos are actually trans? Should we check that? Bonobos can't be transsexual, but they are well known for being highly bisexual and using same-sex and opposite-sex behaviors as a social currency. So she's basically picked this guy out because sometimes he'll shag a woman, sometimes he'll shag a man. And therefore, that means gender, it doesn't mean anything. It's not binary. But guess what? When it comes to him having a baby, he's still got to impregnate the female species, hasn't he? Because if he doesn't, what happens to the fucking bonobos? They don't exist. Bonobos. They don't exist anymore. They die out because they're not having fucking babies anymore. There's the clue for you, love. Just because some of them fancy swinging the both ways, that doesn't mean that they're actually not men. Bonobos do not experience gender dysphoria or transition like humans. Yeah. No shit, my guy. I can't believe this is where we're at in 2026. That I'm having to fucking call this out.
There was almost a reluctance to even admit our closeness to bonobos because chimps represent a more, I'd say, favorable structure to those in power. Whereas, they don't want us to know that we're just as closely related to matriarchal society.
So let me get this right. You're saying that they, the powers that be, don't want us to know how closely related we are to fucking bonobos because it's a matriarchal society full of sex. And therefore, if we all found out about it, everyone would be like, oh my God, this is how we should be living. So the regime, they're suppressing it. They don't want us to know we're like bonobos. This really is some crazy ass shit, by the way. This is so, I think it gets worse, actually.
This is over just queer phobia,
yep,
misogyny, transphobia, blaming everything on trans people. It's just aren't you seeing through this?
No one's blaming everything on trans people, by the way. We had two very public figures almost assassinated. One was assassinated by either trans people or people who want to be with a trans person, whatever. And the world noticed, that's an interesting coincidence, that. Maybe there's something in that. But no one then went, you know what, I think everything's trans people's fault. No one said that, ever. But this need to be the victim, to be the oppressed, oh my God, I'm so fucking sick of it, man. Stop always trying to be the victim.
And the alphas, for all those dudes who are alpha, really gay. They're cuddling and squeezing those genitals of their friends. And, there's the alphas, they're being gay.
I really don't know what the fuck point she's trying to make. I can only just clutch at straws here and assume that because guys like this guy here, poor guy's been really targeted him a lot here, I feel a bit bad. She's saying because the alphas of the bonobos are really gay, therefore being gay is somehow connected to being an alpha. The reach is it's actually insane, isn't it? She's so desperate to cross the lines and make everything just the way she wants it to be, and very vague and blurred and not definitive, not the stereotype. And now stereotypes aren't 100% true generally, yes, but there's a reason why they appear, isn't it? And macho alpha males being straight is not just some stereotype we've just invented out of nowhere, is it? Generally speaking, they are heterosexual fucking males, I'm afraid. As much as you might not like it, and as much as you want to fucking look into the animal kingdom and look in every fucking compartment of animal to try and disprove this theory, you can't. Watch the UFC. Let's see how many gay people are in there, right? Not many. Watch, go into a gym. It's just the way, maybe the gym's a bit different, to be fair. The gay men do like to look good. You get my point, man. Come on. What we talking about now? When did truth just not matter anymore? But alpha monkeys are gay, therefore, so are alpha males. They're all gay. That's it. That's it. She's nailed it then. That's that. I would like to know how you know which ones are the alphas, because obviously sex isn't about what genitals you've got or how you behave, apparently. It's not even that, is it? So how did you figure that one out, huh? Interesting.
It really does map out the aggressive patriarchy and homosexuality. And that feels like such an illusion, the distancing of those things.
I will say, like, when I first started taking testosterone, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, whoa.
So manly. Fucking hell, mate.
Did I just start going out and grabbing people without consent?
Right.
No. So
Right.
I get so sick of like
Right.
something like that being
Right.
an excuse.
I don't remember anyone going, I just can't handle the testosterone. I couldn't help but go raping. No one said that before. What is your opinion of men? This is crazy.
This was, for me, you know, the first thing I noticed starting to take tea.
I find it interesting that she then takes testosterone to become more manly when, from what I understand, the argument from that side is biology does not define whether you're a male or a female. You know, the chromosomes, the reproductive organs, that sort of shit. That doesn't matter. So why then do you want to inject yourself with male hormones to feel more like a man when you're already a man? You were born a man anyway, and we should just accept that. It's a weird one.
You're in love.
I am, yeah.
Love rocks.
Love is awesome.
It's fucking lit. Tell me about it. How does it feel?
You know, with someone now for like over a year.
Let's have a look at the girlfriend. So this is the girlfriend. Notice the little hand on the hip. Assert your dominance, king. I like it. And look, I'm not being a prick, but like, you can wear a suit and that, and you know, you don't look like a man, I'm afraid. You look now like a man. Just look like a lesbian. And that's cool. Not a problem. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying this illusion that we're all pretending around. It's just not real, man.
I think because I'm just feeling so much more grounded in myself with like a new foundation to come from and to build from, like to fall in love, like really feeling that way, and just feeling us sort of continuously and intentionally, you know, building and deepening this connection. And I feel just really lucky and grateful, and to be in a place where I don't feel codependent, where I, you know, where, yeah, I don't feel like I'm losing myself in something. And
I've interviewed a lot of people, and I know when someone is just making things up off the top of their head and doesn't have a fucking clue what they're saying. And that word salad that we've just sat listening to there from a 39-year-old, it's one of the biggest giveaways of I don't know who I am, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And when you're in a relationship, that's a great relationship. It's really easy to describe why it's great, and the words just come flowing out, and you don't have to sit there and pause so deeply between every word, because you know yourself, you know why you love them. It's very straightforward. I don't think she has a fucking clue what she's doing in life. I think she's literally so confused about everything, even now. And it's very hard to admit that when you've been the poster child for transitioning, for this lifestyle. And so many people will have been inspired by him to make that jump. And I don't see someone who feels like a man and who feels like they're in a relationship where they really understand what the fuck is going on.
What does it mean to you to hear me say healthy masculinity?
Healthy masculinity to me is, or even just something I've felt as transitioning, is like leaning away from whenever there is some sort of impulse or expectation you've put on yourself to like shut down or conform in a way that usually feels like this, like I am closing off. I remember kind of being like, oh, Elliot, maybe you should, you know, talk with your hands a little less, or you know, maybe in pictures, because ever since transitioning, now I'm like, Johnny, I am smiling in those photos.
Not smiled once in this whole fucking podcast, to be honest. But what she's saying is the desire to conform what she means is the desire to try and behave like men behave, and that she's struggling with that because she doesn't naturally behave like a man. I'll let you guess why, but she's struggling with that.
Whereas I used to be I could barely look at a photo of myself. I was always like, you know, and now, and I'll be say a dude's like, hey, are you Victor from Umbrella Academy? You know, and we're doing a photo together. He's very, I'm very, you know, and like having that moment where I'm like, oh, should I also not? Like, should I also be
close
off?
It's
just like, what the fuck, Elliot? What are you talking about? Like, oh, honey, you're the part of the problem.
Okay, so a couple of things. Men don't refer to themselves as honey. Even gay men don't. I don't even think gay men do that. Second of all, men don't sit around wondering if we're behaving manly enough. That doesn't even come through our head. You know why? Because we're fucking men. We just are. We don't have to try. It's just there.
Oh, honey, you're the part of the problem.
What is the problem? Being too macho? I don't think you're at any risk of that. Like,
to me, healthy masculinity would be, well, you know what, healthiness for anyone to just, you know, love themselves, be able to care for themselves, ideally get rest when they can, you know, like just the practical basic, drink water.
fuck's sakes. Oh, God. Honestly, I've never heard someone more clueless about what masculinity is. She has no clue.
Love themselves, be able to care for themselves, ideally get rest when they can, you know, like just the practical basic, drink water, like eat a banana.
Oh, we're back to the bananas now, eh? Oh, the monkey would be happy. At least he's getting a fucking high five. He loves a banana, him. I see, it turns out he is masculine after all, you fucker. And you thought he was trans the whole time.
Doing what you can to be intentionally and mindfully, not letting yourself get like swayed or twisted by the rules that I feel like end up like leading to so many of the problems that we see that are, you know, do get inflicted by toxic masculinity, violence and abuse, just general cruelty.
Literally, man. Not a fucking clue. Drink water. Eat a banana. Don't be toxic. Don't be violent. Don't be abusive. That's what she's saying is healthy masculinity. She hasn't got a fucking clue, man. And we're sat here supposed to take this woman seriously as a fucking man. Piss off. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't get me wrong. People can live how they want. You fucking want to walk around pretending you're a man, you crack on. Be happy. But this is nonsense, this, that we have to go around talking to this person as if they're a fucking man, asking what's healthy masculinity. You ain't got a clue, man. And people listen to this shithead.
Yeah, I think it's just like healthy masculinity could just mean a really good cry.
Oh my God. We don't want to cry. Men don't want to cry. That's what girls do. Yeah, sometimes we do it reluctantly, but it doesn't make us feel strong and powerful and empowered, which is what men want to feel. And that isn't always a negative thing. It doesn't always mean being abusive, being nasty, being violent. Strength can come in many different forms. It's just the media like to focus on the negative side of it because we were trying to feminize society so that the outspoken men go quieter and society is easier to manage, actually. But we don't want to feel like a bitch. And this notion that the only healthy thing a man can do is behave like a woman, it pisses me off. So shut the fuck up. I really kicked off a good series here, haven't I? This podcast show is going to go well. Fuck me, there's going to be loads of ammo.
I just want to make sure I'm always like leaning away from that pull to shut off emotionally.
Yeah, you've nailed that. I'll not deny that. You've definitely not shut down emotionally. You're a bag of emotions, love. And this is what women don't get, because she is a fucking woman, because she thinks like a woman, and it just shows you can have your hair cut, you can have the surgery, you can have the hormones. You're still a fucking woman because you're talking like one. Men have a lot of emotions. We have plenty of emotions that go through our head every fucking day. Do you know why we seem emotionless? We don't just want to cry and fucking bawl about our problems all the fucking time, because that's what being a man is. It's about taking shit and getting on with it. And if that makes us toxic, well then call us fucking toxic. Fuck off.
It was in my pregnancy that I realized I identify as non-binary, as a non-binary woman.
Wait. She discovered I'm not actually a woman or a man while she was pregnant with a child. Something only a woman can be. That was the moment when she went, no, I'm not actually a woman anymore. This is unbelievable, this is actually a new low. Even she's looking at her going, bitch, you fucking crazy. You crazy. I'm crazy, but you're really crazy. You were giving birth, motherfucker. Talking about she's not a woman. Shut up.
And like in terms of my transness, I feel so lucky because I feel like I've gone from a place where I could barely function. I was so uncomfortable to now kind of no matter what's going on, like my feet are on the ground. And I had to do all that digging and I had to like scrape through all those layers. And
I don't even know what the hell she's on about. I've heard trans people talk about not feeling like a girly girl and therefore maybe I must be a man. Like, I get confusion happens in people. If she feels happier living this way, go for you. I don't have a problem with that, actually. I have a problem with the nonsense that gets said about it. Like, the fact that you're trying to now prove that medical science is a load of shit because you want to reaffirm that the way you are is normal, is reality, and not make believe. That's where I have an issue, because I think science and like the truth is more important than people's feelings. But if she wants to live her own life and crack on and people talk to her as if she's a man, that's not a problem for me. I would quite happily say, all right, mate, all right, bud, you all right, Paul, we're going for a pint, like. But let's not like go on like podcasts and try and claim that reality is wrong.
People in power, what have you, these like, you know, white supremacist patriarchal structures don't want people to feel liberated.
Yeah.
And feel that sense of power and feel that sense of possibility.
No one's got a problem with anyone feeling liberated. We just believe in medical science. That's not us oppressing you. Stop being a victim. All right, I've had enough for the day. I literally can't go on here. Don't forget, if you want me to take a look at any podcast clips, send them to me, tweet them to me, Instagram DM, all of that. Time code them so I don't have to watch through the shit. And we will continue to clean up the podcast scene and to call this shit out. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.